What's good, YouTube? This is Yamagoat Productions, and today we're going to be doing an April 2005 Goat Control deck profile. This is the deck I like to play with when I play that format, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to start with the main deck. I feel like a pretty obvious monster that's in almost every Goat Control deck is Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. If you don't know what this guy does, he can banish a monster on the field and make 2 attacks during the same damage step. He's really good for this format. Most decks run him, but if you're playing a certain archetype, you might not. But overall, he's just a really overpowered, or not overpowered. He is really good, but I wouldn't say he's like Chaos Emperor Dragon type overpowered. You're definitely pretty much always going to play one. Alright, moving on to the next card, we got Chaos Sorcerer. We play him for similar reasons. I play a small Chaos Engine in this deck. It's not a Chaos deck by any means, though. He's kind of the same thing. He's spot removal. You can pop one, or sorry, not pop. He can banish one monster on your opponent's side of the field, which is really good in Goat Control. There's not too many ways to bring back banished cards. So we run one of him. After that, my only 2 tribute monsters in the deck are Jinzo and Air Knight Parshath. Some people think that you should cut Jinzo for a second Air Knight Parshath. I disagree. I mean, Jinzo just straight up wins you games sometimes. Shutting down your opponent's traps is very, very good in this format. There's not even too much that can get over a 2,400 beater. Like, he has a good effect, he has good attack. I definitely think he's good at 1. I don't think I'd play more. I'm pretty sure you can't play more. I think he's limited to 1. And Air Knight Parshath, I still think he's good. I think you really only need to run 1 of him. And this is my deck profile, so I guess that's my opinion. If you think something different, please let me know in the comments below. Up next, we have 1 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. This is just to stop Chaos decks, and just stop them from summoning their BLS. It's a really rough card to get over, so you got to have some defense to it, and this is a pretty good out. As long as they don't get it on board before you get this card on board, you're all good. Alright. The most controversial card I have in my deck at the moment is Exarion Universe. I'm actually going to take him out. I think Goat format without Exarion is the superior way to play the format. I just haven't figured out what I'm going to switch him for yet, so he's still in there for now as kind of a placeholder. If you play with him, though, definitely probably run 2 or 3 of these guys. He's really good. Piercing damage against Goat tokens, and just a high attack overall. I mean, he's a good card. But alright, next, Breaker the Magical Warrior. This card is absolutely amazing. Pretty much any type of Goat deck I would run with him and Tribe Infecting Virus, just because they're so versatile. 1900 attack is so good. Plus you can remove his counter, take out a spell or trap card. I mean, there's almost no reason to not run him. And he doesn't require a tribute. He's just a really good card overall. Up next, like I just said, Tribe Infecting Virus. I don't think I would make that many Goat decks that don't have this card unless it's a really specific strategy you're going for. But he's really good. You discard 1 card from your hand and you can declare 1 type of monster and destroy all of that type. Very, very good card. Run this in almost every type of Goat deck, I'd say. Up next, Blade Knight. I don't see too many people run this in their main deck, but I think he's a good main deck card to have. I also play a small Warrior Engine in here, which it just kind of goes with the Chaos Engine, it being a light. It's 4-star, you can search it with reinforcements of the army. And it gains attack when you don't have cards in your hand, and that you want to have card advantage on your opponent, but sometimes that just doesn't happen, so he's a good guy to have. Up next, we got DD Warrior Lady, another card that can be searched with Rhoda, and it's another light. And it can banish cards, so this could be another out to your opponent's BLS or Chaos Sorcerer or whatever big boss monster they have. Not too much attack, but really you're just going for the banish with this card. Exiled Forces. Again, it's just another card that can be searched with reinforcements of the army. It's also spot removal. You can tribute itself to get a problem off the board, which is really good. Up next, we have Sangan. I mean, this is just a generic searcher. It searches anything. It's another card that's in almost every Goat deck, but I don't know. I mean, he's just a good card. He's good effect, and you run 1 of him because you can. Next, we have Spirit Reaper. This is just to sort of slow your opponent down, plus being able to rip a card from their hand with his effect is really good. Not too much to say about him. He's just a good card. He's at 1, so you run him at 1. Up next, we have Morphing Jar. This card is wonderful to replenish your hand. It is It has not the best stats, but you're really just running it for its flip effect. And yeah, card advantage is everything. You just set your hand, as many cards as you can, set this, hope that they don't hit up with Nobleman or cross out, and get the card advantage on your opponent to win. Up next, we got one Sinister Serpent. This is a good discard target for Tribe Infecting Virus because it just comes back to your hand. It's also just sort of Delinquent Duo. It sort of duo-proofs your deck if you want to think about it that way. I mean, this is just the card you discard when you have to discard because it comes back, so it's like you're not discarding anything. It's just to keep the card advantage and momentum going. Plus, it's a level 1. You can hit it with Metamorphosis to go into Thousand Eyes Restrict and take your opponent's monster, turn their strategy against them. It's the same reason we run Chu Magician of Faith. This card's really good. I don't know if I'd run 3 if I probably would run 3 if I could, but it's at 2, and I think 2 is where it should be. Flip, grab a spell card from your graveyard. There's all kinds of plays you can do with this. I mean, you can get your Pot of Greed back, you can get your Graceful Charity back, just get all kinds of card advantage. You can get your Metamorphosis back from the graveyard, which is also really, really beneficial. And since it's a level 1, you can turn it into Thousand Eyes. Plus, it's a light. There's just a lot going for this card. Definitely don't think I would cut this card down at all. Up next, we have Magical Merchant. He's the last monster in my deck. It's okay. I mean, it just sort of goes with that Chaos Engine that I've been talking about. This card, you basically pick cards up off your deck, or you excavate them, I guess I should say, is the terminology for it, until you get a spell card, send the rest to the graveyard. It just helps get you lights and darks in the graveyard for BLS and Chaos Sorcerer. Up next, the Holy Trinity. I mean, if you're playing Go format, you're definitely playing these 3 cards. Some decks I've heard actually don't use Duo, but I don't think that's a good deck building choice in my opinion. If you disagree, like I said, let me know in the comments below. Let me know why. But I'll briefly explain these cards. I'm sure everybody knows what they do. Draw 2, draw 3, discard 2, and then Delinquent Duo. I actually didn't know when I first got into Go format because it's it's not as popular in the anime as these two. But Delinquent Duo essentially pay 1,000 life points. Your opponent randomly discards a card, and then they have to choose what card to discard. So they're basically discarding 2 cards. It's like kind of like a reverse Pot of Greed, but it's a very good card. So definitely gonna run it. Up next, one of the things that makes this deck so powerful: 3 Metamorphosis. This card, if you don't know what it does, you basically get to sacrifice one of the monsters on your side of the field as a tribute, and special summon 1 fusion monster at the same level. This is how you make Thousand Eyes. This is how you pretty much win games. It's just a really good card. You slow your opponent down because other people can't attack when you have your Thousand Eyes face up, and it's just it's really good. It's pretty much what the whole deck is based around, and the format is named after the deck, so it's good. The format's named after a combo. This is the card the format is named after. 2 Scapegoat. I feel like running any more than 2 is pretty cloggy. It is kind of a brick if you don't have Metamorphosis, but I mean, it still also protects your life points. So as long as they don't have someone that does piercing damage, like Gravekeeper Spear Soldier, or if you're playing the Exarion version in Exarion, this card will just sort of buy you some time, but it's definitely better when you have Metamorphosis in your hand. Up next, we got 2 Noblemen of Crossout. These cards, they just destroy flip effect. I mean, they destroy anything that's face down defense position, but they remove flip effects from play, I think, right? Is that what it does? Yes, I believe so. And I mean, it's pretty standard in every Go control deck. It's a really good card. Most of the spells are really standard across the board, like regardless of what archetype you're using. There'll be some minor tweaks with this card and the Trinity, pretty much in all decks from that era. Up next, we got 2 Book of Moon. I actually want to bump this up to 3 because I'm not sure if you noticed this or not, but I actually don't have Tsukiyomi in my deck. Thought about running one. I don't like how you use your normal summon to flip something face down. I would rather just run more Book of Moons, and I definitely think I'm actually going to bump this up to 3 and take another card out of my deck because it is a really good play to make to flip something face down, especially because flip effects they happen so often in this format. It is really nice to be able to reset your own flips or flip other people's Thousand Eyes Restricts face down. It's an important play to make, and not running Tsukiyomi puts you at a disadvantage, so I think I'm definitely going to bump this card up to 3. Up next, we have 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. This card's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's been in almost every format of Yu-Gi-Oh! In one way or another, but it's just really good, and that's why you run it. If you could run more, you would. Snatch Steal, take your opponent's monster. You want to get it off the field as quick as you can though, because they're going to gain 1,000 life points every turn that this card's on the field. But I mean, it wins you games. You want to save this for something important. Premature Burial, I mean, this is just a worse Monster Reborn, but Monster Reborn was banned, so you're going to run this. Pay 100 life points, summon a monster in attack position. No complaints, very good card. Would run more if I could. Heavy Storm is interesting. I like this card, but you know, there are potential drawbacks if you have your own card set already. And I've seen some other YouTubers talking about this card and talking about how they remove it from their GOAT decks. And I kind of agree with their theories, is that like everybody's playing around this card, so they never set their full back row, so you're never really going to get that much potential out of it. Or you're not going to get as much of a payoff as you'd think you would, because most people are playing around it. So, I don't know. Interesting concept. Might take it out, but I do like it. It is a good card. Up next, Reinforcements of the Army. Just one. I know you can run two, but I only have 3 warriors in the deck, and it's just nice to grab whatever you need. It basically turns your deck from 40 cards to 39, because it can just be whatever warrior you need it to be, and it's good. All right. For my traps, only run 5 traps. Call of the Haunted. Pretty self-explanatory. Brings a card back from the graveyard. It's a really good card to have. Mirror Force, debatably the best and most iconic trap of the game. Well, I guess not in the current metagame, not really, but you know, it definitely was one of the best cards back in the day, and I'm really glad that it's legal in this format because it's really good. Torrential Tribute, just another really good one-off trap. They summon a monster, you blow up the field. It's perfect. Leaves them wide open for attack. Ring of Destruction, again, it's just another staple trap. It's too good to not play. It's at 1 for a reason. And the last card I'm currently playing, Dust Tornado, but like I said, I think I'm going to switch this card for another Book of Moon. Alright, that rounds off the main deck. And now we're going to go into the extra deck. I mean, there's really only one monster in here, and I've talked about it throughout the video that's super important, but it's your 3 copies of Thousand Eyes Restrict. This card just wins you games. It's a really amazing card. The fact that it's level 1, it's a dark, it just fits in with the deck perfectly. It synergizes with everything, and it's your main, or not your main win condition, but it's a really, really big power play. Other than that, we just run a level 3, a level 4, pretty much one of every level that you can, so that way you can Metamorphosis. If you have in your hand, you need to get an effect off, and yeah. I mean, there's a couple other ones you make occasionally, like there's definitely like sort of a dragon deck I'm trying to make right now where King Dragoon comes into play a lot. You can Metamorphosis other cards. You know, just Metamorphosis overall is just a really powerful card, and you want to be able to go into whatever you can, but obviously your main target is this, and that's also why you run so many level 1s. Lastly, you know, can't play GOAT format without the scapegoats. So yeah. Alright, that about wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below any other deck profiles from this era you'd like to see, or if you really want to see me do the current meta. I mean, I'm open to trying that. I'm open to doing things that aren't even Yu-Gi-Oh related, so just let me know anything I can improve on. Thanks, and I hope you have a good day.